You gotta desync your iPad and your phone is probably
We'll
the
do
first.
that. You'll show me how to do that when we get off of here. I
Yep.
am sorry,
Well,
guys. We are back. We got to get our people back. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I had technical difficulties. My phone is synced to my iPad. I got a call. It took me off the whole thing. I'm sorry. Okay. Now we're gonna piggyback off of where were we at?
how do you know?
The
Um,
question was, how do you know if you actually forgave yourself or if you just feel like you just got over it?
yep.
You forgave the person or you just got over it. Okay.
And
Sorry,
you
y'all.
said your triggers will pop up. They'll let you know you need to do more work.
Yeah.
I added that your body will tell you. That's part of your triggers popping up. You're gonna feel that.
Let's just give people a few more minutes to get back on.
Yeah.
Guys, hold on. Tanya, we're gonna take a 2 minute commercial break. Okay, Tiffany, we're back. Okay, I'm back.
Boo.
And we're back, guys. Sorry about that. I got too many devices going on. I got my iPad and my phone synced together. I'll fix that. That won't happen again. Okay, so we can piggyback off the question that Shamika said. She asked, her question was, how do you know if you forgave yourself or if it's just something that you just got over? And we went into how you are able to identify it. Like, and I stated earlier, that it's certain things that can happen, certain interactions with people, and it doesn't matter who they are, co-workers, your boss, your kids, a friend, a significant other, a family member, somebody of clergy. It just all depends on like where you are. And now Tiffany is going to piggyback off of that and give us a very intimate example, a very personal example of how she's able to identify things that she's still triggered by.
Yeah. So 10 years ago, my mom passed from breast cancer. Um, Shortly before she was diagnosed, I'm originally from Chicago. I left Chicago and moved back to Minnesota with my kids. So when she got her diagnosis, I was up here. Um, After she passed, I really blame myself for not being in Chicago and had convinced myself that had I been in Chicago, things would have gone differently. Somehow, she would have lived longer, the chemo would have worked,
Mm-hmm.
life would have been great. I would have moved her up here. We would all been happily ever after,
Right.
for however long. Um, I carried that guilt, the shame of not being able to pay for a funeral, the shame of not being able to present the way that it was expected of me,
Mm-hmm.
like immediately after losing my mother. Um, I carried that for a very long time. It showed up in my parenting. It showed up in how I moved with my siblings. It showed up in everything. Um, when I started therapy, it was one of the first things I had to work on because I knew that the loss of my mom was a huge impact on my life. It was it had completely shifted how I saw myself moving through this world. The very first thing we worked on was forgiving myself for not showing up.
The way
However,
you
I
the way
thought,
you felt, the way you felt by you being the oldest sibling.
yes,
Yeah.
I am the oldest. That is good. Thank you for that context.
Mm-hmm.
So it was my job, right? Like I was supposed to take care of her. Not even, and in that, like, I'm gonna try to do this, make all these points without rambling, because stuff keeps firing off. But
Okay. Grace is given, and this is something that you're working on. It's a part of a core hurt. It's something that is a part of your healing journey.
but in that, like, so caught up in my own shit, not making room for the fact that my mom was a whole person who moved how she wanted to, who, while thought of me and accounted for me in them, was going to do what she wanted to do, regardless if I was there or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I got to a place where I forgave myself, where I felt like I forgave myself, initially I thought, oh, okay, so like grief will look a little different. Won't be so hard. Y'all, I had a terrible week last week. It was all kinds of stuff going on. And all I wanted to do was talk to my mama.
Mm.
And then Mother's Day came. And I woke up and I'm like, I ain't got no mama. I can't call this lady. I can't hear her laugh. I can't gossip on the phone with her no more. I can't crack jokes. Like, the grief's still there.
Yeah. Do you find that in the stages of grief, you repeat steps?
Yes, but that, I think that is related. It's I was about to go into that. So the grief is still there, but because I've forgiven myself, it looks a little different, right?
Okay.
It's not rooted in this guilt, these feelings of guilt and shame of what I should have done. It's just I miss my mom.
Yeah. Hands down.
Period. I know she's not here. I know we all did everything we could do. I know she's proud of me. She's looking down. She's proud of the boys. I just miss my mom.
Yeah.
I'm just sad.
Mm-hmm.
I need to sit with that. It's the moving through the stages of grief, because that's
It's all over. It's like
all over the place.
like a kaleidoscope. It's all it intertwines. It goes from one place to the next. It goes back. It goes forward.
And to your point, sis, so let's talk about anger. Because before, that anger was directed at me. You should have been there.
Mm.
You should have did this. You should have did that.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, when I was going through my I ain't got no mama sadness, it was, I'm mad my mom's not here.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
The difference, again, the anger's still there. It just shows up differently. And that's how you know that you've forgiven yourself, because the emotions are not direct, those negative emotions are not directed toward you. You can feel those negative emotions, you can feel grief, you can feel anger, but they're not mixed in and muddled up with guilt and shame. It's the guilt and the shame that is really the difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
Once you are able to rid yourself of those, that's how you know.
Yeah. That's how you know what, Tiff, because Shamika has a question. Well, she has a statement, basically. This is what confuses me. I just need therapy. I don't know what I've forgiven myself for. Honestly, that's why I'm at with it. Felt. And for me, I know from my experience that's when I felt like that, when I feel like this, because like I said, it's a mental marathon. Like it's something that will continue to go on and on and on. You're still angry about certain things. You still I felt like when I couldn't figure out like what am I forgiving myself for, when I feel like I've always put my best foot forward. But what I fell short is not accepting people for who exactly the hell they are, not accepting people for what they showed me. Because before a person tells, they will show you who they are. They will show you. Just like I'm gonna use a very personal example for my last relationship that I held on to and held on to. When the family came to a head for us to get together, or what I thought was destined to be, I didn't take 2 seconds to step back to really think if I was emotionally, mentally, and physically prepared to enter another human being into my life, no matter what they came with. Like, I had to forgive, I had to hold accountability in order to forgive myself. In order to forgive him, I had to hold accountability because I make the executive decisions in my life. I had to learn that. And I had to learn that my emotions not being reliable, and at that moment I was very vulnerable. I didn't pay attention to that. I felt like I needed to be rescued. I felt like woe is me. I've been doing all this hard work. I've been working, doing my best to hold my kids together, give them a new foundation, a new look on life. And I felt like when I let that relationship follow me from St. Louis to Minnesota, at that time I thought it was the right thing to do, when it wasn't, because I wasn't emotionally equipped to even be able to process another human being in my life, and they having feelings and emotions and questions about how I move. Now, I'm not holding myself accountable for my ex-partner's actions by any means. But what I'm saying here is, I know when I didn't understand what I'm forgiving myself for, because I'm not the one who oppressed me. But when I realized I was the one who oppressed me, because I had the option to choose, I had to learn to have a backbone and not let my need for instant gratification, loneliness, to be loved and accepted wholeheartedly. It wasn't the right place and time. And he was definitely the wrong person. So when you say that, for me, Shamika, when I don't know why, it's because I'm still angry. And I still haven't processed all the parts played in the situation. I haven't processed the scenarios. I haven't even processed, at that time when I'm angry, I haven't even processed the part that I played in it.
Yeah.
Whether I was being oppressed or at times the oppressor.
And I remember and even now, right? I think for me, as I try to practice it regularly, it's every little thing I nitpick myself for.
Mm, you
Um
gotta stop that.
yeah, like every
You
like
gotta give yourself grace. You got to you that oof.
well, even the shoulda, all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I shoulda, I coulda,
Mm-hmm.
if I
I could
woulda.
have been done this. I should have been did this.
Yeah, like those are the things. That's a good place to start. I'm always gonna advocate for therapy, like lifesaver, right hand of God. Um, because I truly believe we all deserve a dedicated space that is just about us and what we need from it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
And so I want to say something about that therapy, and then and I'm just gonna touch on it briefly. Therapy in our community, in our culture, how it is frowned upon. It's better now in 2024 than it was 10 years ago
Mhm.
to actually be able to speak to a person that should be biased, that should be neutral, someone who doesn't really know you personally, doesn't really know your family dynamic as a whole, to be able to have a safe place to be able to share those things. You know what I'm saying? That starts that it has to start in the Black community. For a long time now, people may not agree with me, but for a long time, therapy and counseling was frowned upon.
Yeah.
Was
And
frowned.
I will add, so I have a Black woman therapist, which is why I've been in therapy consistently for 6 years. I will say that hands down. I didn't find this therapist on the first try. I
So
had to,
it takes a while to find a perfect fit, basically, is
yeah,
what you're saying. Do
yeah,
you think that you really will find a perfect fit? Because as you go through therapy and counseling, you elevate, right?
yeah,
You jump over hurdles.
yeah. So I still question that just because I think even now, even within the last year, I was questioning like, am I may be too comfortable with my therapist. You know
Mm.
what I mean? I think a good therapist is going to push you. Um, and so they're going to push you exactly to unpack unresolved feelings and emotions, things that you may not necessarily want to unpack in the
Mhm.
moment. They know how to work you through those things at your own pace, at a pace that's healthy for you.
Mhm.
Um, and so I don't know necessarily if you're going to find the one right therapist. Some people do. I haven't shifted yet because I feel like just when I think I need a little bit more, my therapist is able to see that and act accordingly, so it works for me. Um, but yeah, I think it's on a case by case basis. Yeah, yep. So yep, I and again, I think I went through. Oh, oh, it's been about a good 6 or 7 before we got here. And not that any of the other ones didn't work. I stayed with them for a while. I worked through some things with them. Um, but again, as you peel the layers back, the strategies may need to change.
You
And
still
so
calling my
you might need to go
calling
ahead
my
and move around
podcast
to
is
another
really
therapist. But
pissing me
yeah,
the fuck
I
off.
would say keep going. It's hard, especially in 2024 where medical care is not accessible for everybody. Um, but if you have access to it and you can, keep going, keep doing it. Um,
I'm having technical difficulties again. I cannot hear.
oh, I can hear,
My phone. Y'all can hear me?
yeah.
Okay, I can't hear anything, but as long as y'all can hear me, I'm okay with it for right now. I cannot. My phone rang again, y'all. Work with me. I can't hear what you saying, Tiffany.
Oh, I'm gonna try to come out and come back in.
Okay. Hi, y'all. I'm here. Can you guys hear me? If anybody in the comments? Okay, Shamika, you can hear me. Okay, let me see where wait for Tiffany to join the studio back. But yeah, I'm gonna keep on going though. Like, when it came to forgiveness, Shawan, I am the one says writing was an outlet for me to release a lot of suppressed, a lot of suppressed trauma. So that was a tool that you use to heal. Writing. I've learned that creating is another tool that I use for healing, for forgiving myself. That actually creating, actually putting the work in, is what makes me able to forgive myself.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to turn my phone off, y'all. Hold on 1 second.
I was gonna say writing is still an outlet for me too.
Siri, power
Um,
off. Good evening. Oh my God, girl.
um, yeah, writing's been a huge. I'm a writer, so it's been a huge help.
I am the one says writing was an outlet for me to release a lot of suppressed trauma. And I piggybacked off of her saying that. And for me, it was actually creating my visions and not lying to myself and stop procrastinating and actually doing it. Because the more that I do this, the better I feel. The more I feel confident. Because right up until we go live, baby, I'm all kinds of nervous. I have all kinds of thoughts and doubts. And even in my fear with my self doubt, I'm learning to be more to be more prepared and take my visions more serious and give it a little bit more time to I need to nurse it. It's like my baby in the incubator. Like it's like I'm going to see my podcast in the NICU and I need to tend to it a lot, instead of just seeking validation. I want everybody to, looking for accolades and you haven't even produced and I'm worried about who's gonna watch or who's gonna follow or who thinks it's a good idea or who thinks I got it, So a part of me forgiving myself is completely not giving a fuck and doing my best. That's all. I had to curse because no fucks are given about what anybody thinks in a negative way. Now, constructive criticism, I can take it because the people who love you are going to give it to you in the raw, and you have to be able to receive that. I didn't used to be able to receive constructive criticism because I took everything as an attack.
Ooh, can I add something to that? Because
Yes, ma'am.
something is constructive criticism if it is asked for. If it is not asked for, um,
How do you receive it if it's not asked for?
if it's not asked for, then it's an opinion. And
Do you feel like it's an attack?
it doesn't necessarily have to be an attack, but it's
Okay.
an opinion, and you are welcome to your opinion. And then like, yes. The other thing I want to touch on was when you were talking about your podcast is, it made me think of this quote when people say, "Do it afraid."
Do it broke.
Yeah,
Do it
and
alone.
I think what people don't. Somebody had to remind me was like, yeah, well, when you do it afraid, you're gonna do it wrong, and that's okay. You're not gonna do it. You may not do it right the first time.
Okay.
You're not gonna
Or
get
the second time.
or the third time, but you're
Third.
doing it and you're
Mm-hmm.
learning and
Mm-hmm.
learning from your mistakes, and so that's better than not trying at all. And that ties back into forgiveness, because once you're able to do that and let yourself make mistakes and forgive yourself for the mistakes that you're making, change your behavior so that you're growing and you're learning and you're moving forward, um, you're doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah. And it and it's like I'm the one says, she said, when you do it for you, everything will fall into place, the people will come. And I believe that. I'm sharing it because it's just a part of my forgiveness letter, and a part of my forgiveness letter, it can get ugly because I have to forgive myself for shrinking to make other people comfortable. Taking it into offense when people don't clap for you when your life is going well, and they feel inferior that God is blessing you, and you don't have any strife in your life at the moment, or nothing's fucked up, everything is working out for the good. I used to feel guilty about that. I used to I really had to dig into what survivor's remorse really meant. And I suffered from it. I suffered from being different. I suffered from wanting to be different and not receiving the energy or the acceptance from people who I thought that it should have came from. But then I had to realize if it be a family, significant other, friends, if they don't see it for themselves, they can never see it for you, and that's okay. I had to learn that that's okay. And that's not saying that they're less than or I'm better than. It's just what's for me. It's for me. And it's okay for me to trust it, take it, and run with it. And do my best and get better. And I've learned even today with getting to get ready for today, best practices. I need to be a little bit more prepared, give it a little bit more time so that I can actually execute this platform the way that I want to, the way that I really want to.
I just want to highlight a comment. We have to learn that it's okay to fail forward as long as we keep going. Um, And I am a firm believer
Ooh, failing forward.
in failing forward.
I had to receive that because
Um,
I would fail and stop.
Grit is respected.
Ooh.
And that's about how you bounce back. Because we all fall down. It's about how you get up.
Truly walk with authenticity. You learn those who matter and those who don't. And that's a period.
Real shit.
And the crazy part about that, um, the crazy part about that, when you realize some of the people who don't matter, that shit hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. It really hurts realizing that. And then for me, I listened to a whole bunch of life coaches and self-made millionaires and self-made billionaires and people who got it out the mud and who didn't come with a silver spoon or didn't have an educational background or their parents wasn't wealthy. They worked their fucking fingers to the bone. You listen to them and they tell you over and over and over again, it be the least people you expect who are not going to go with you.
Yep.
Who are not going to go, who are not going to support you. That was big for me. It was big for me.
A lot of people, once you step outside of that box that they have put you in, it becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm. It becomes a problem in what way? Explain a little bit more, Tia.
It's like you said, it shows up differently with some people, right? For some people, it shows up as envy, all out envy, jealousy. For other people, it'll show up as backhanded comments. For some people, it's gonna show up as half-ass support. For other people, it's gonna show up as no support at all.
It's the backhanded comments for me. It's the I'm taking a crack at you, but in a joking way.
Yep. It's gonna look different across the board.
Mm-hmm.
But once you step outside that box that they put you in, they get to reacting and showing their true colors.
Okay.
And that's how you know they're not supposed to go. Therapy again. Once you start to put up those boundaries with folks about how you want to be treated and how they are to treat you, the people who respect those boundaries are going to stick around. The people who do not are going to be the people you're going to have to leave behind and let go.
No matter who that is, right?
Right.
And you have to do that with grace and not be angry about it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to accept that it's okay and trust that you can walk that journey with yourself.
Oh, because this just brought up another thing.
She says people become intimidated when you plateau over them because you no longer are built for the box they created for you. You've evolved. Come on. Come on, Shawan. Facts. For me, I used to be in a space where I was judgmental of my friends, my family, because I really looked for validation. You know what I'm saying? So I would, if you're not thinking how I'm thinking at the moment, I'm judging you. I probably got something harsh to say. I probably got a backhanded comment. I'm guilty of that. Or I'm guilty of I'm venting about it or discussing somebody's downfalls or some behaviors that they're steady displaying that I feel like no longer serves me as a part of my life. I've had to learn to let people who you love be where they're gonna be and be who they are. And you keep going. And it goes back to the comment was saying it's okay to fail forward. I just learned to receive that. I've learned to fall and get right the hell back up and keep going, not sit in it for weeks and months and days and go into a depression and go into what I should have or just wait for the whole freaking car to crash. Sit back and keep doing the same behaviors that instead of regrouping, resetting, and refocus and keep going. I use that time to do that now versus what I used to use that time to sit in. I used to wallow in it, wallow in my mistakes, wallow in my train of thought, wallow in how I let somebody play me, or wallow how I gave 100% and I only received 2% back. But it goes back into when we had that brief inkling about reciprocity in relationships. And Tiffany said, you know, I used to trip off the whole thing. Now I'm okay with a quarter. Now I'm okay with a third of it. Just the small things matters. So it goes back into you saying celebrating the small accomplishments, celebrating you.
And I want to touch on when we talk about people being intimidated, I think really what it is at the base of it is resentment, right? And I feel like, you know, just to jump back to Shamika's question earlier, one way you know that you've forgiven yourself is a lack of resentment, or that you've forgiven someone else is a lack of resentment. And so when you jump outside that box and folks start moving the way they move, and I feel like the base of that is resentment. They resent you because how dare you jump outside the box that I put you in? How dare you be different from what I expected? Shake that up.
I'm talking about my Rolly. I'm not sarcasm is my bestie. I can be real slick out the mouth at times, and I had to learn that my opinion, as Tiff said, isn't always welcome, even if it's coming from a loving place.
Listen, as a Virgo,
yes,
as a Virgo, feedback is my love language. So I welcome feedback at all times, even when it's not asked for. I appreciate it because it lets me know where I need to improve. I had to learn, and oddly enough, my boys taught me this. Not everybody needs your God. Not everybody needs a fucking solution from you. Nobody. Yeah. Sometimes people just want to be heard. And so one way I practice that, like you said, is especially with the boys, it's like, okay, are you telling me because you want a solution, or do you just want me to listen? Because I'm like you. My first go-to is my opinion. Here's a solution for you. I can fix that.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up. Let's get over it. It's just like me going back and forth with my Apple Wallet and putting my actual bank card on my Apple Wallet. Tiffany flat out said to me, y'all, and pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, she pissed me off. She gonna say, well, you don't want to put your name before the card. I'm like, no. She said, well, you need to check your subscriptions on in your Apple ID settings. You need to check your subscriptions. I'm like, well, I don't know. She said, well, girl, you're gonna have to just go on and eat that, boo. I don't know what you want me. I don't know what do you want me to tell you, but you're gonna have to eat that, boo, if you want to get what you need. Because I wasn't able to download apps that I needed. So even for school, for the podcast, I wasn't able to do anything because they say talking about billing information, and I'm feeling like, Apple, why I gotta have my debit card? And Tiffany was just like, girl, you gotta eat that, boo. I don't know what else to tell you. I done tried to pity pat around this with you for weeks. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap this up, baby.
Hey, look, this is it. That's what you gotta do. And here I am.
I love you.
And here I am. You know. Let's see, we got any more comments? Shamika said, I agree about the perfect fit. I tried therapy, but quit going after 8. I didn't feel it was working. Maybe she wasn't the right fit. That makes sense now. Yeah. Tiffany told me that one too. They said you're gonna go through a few before you get the right fit. And then how does that make you feel? How do you know when enough sharing is enough, and when baby, I'm at this point, that's where I'm at with it. Because all those free trials catch up, girl. When I went in my subscriptions and looked at all of those things, I was like, oh. But everybody be talking about Apple be stealing. Apple don't be stealing.
Oh, baby, that's the subscriptions.
That's what you subscribe to.
Yeah, the Virgo in me makes me go in there monthly. Like, I don't got time to play with y'all. What y'all try to do for me this month?
Yeah. And I'm going to piggyback on something that my kids taught me. My kids taught me to stand on what I say to myself. What I say to myself. Like if I make a promise to myself, I stand on that. Now I do. That's a part of me forgiving me. Not lying to myself anymore. not so much worried about pleasing people. I was a people pleaser, y'all. People pleasing with my family, baby, friends, men, any damn body. I wanted them to like me. Now, in what world do I live in? Cotton candy land, pixie dust, and unicorns, where you feel like every person is supposed to like you no matter what.
Ain't nobody gonna ever be mad at you.
Ain't
Long
nobody
as
gonna
you
ever
say
be mad at
yes. Long as you say yes.
me. Baby, your yes cannot be enough.
Mm-mm.
So, forgiveness letter. I would recommend, if you haven't done it for yourself, I would recommend that you do write yourself a forgiveness letter. Yeah, people pleasing is big draining. Big draining. Turns you into an ape at this point. Turn me into something I refuse to do. So now I have to set the healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
I have to learn to what I receive and what I take in. So what I want to process in my train of thought at this point.
And no is a full sentence.
Yeah.
No is a full sentence. That's my favorite one.
Never wanted to please anyone, girl. I needed to be like that. And that's where I'm at now. That's where I'm. You got a question for Tiff?
What's up?
Come with it. Yeah, I really. Hold on.
Oh. Oh, I would love to do an episode about mother wounds because let me tell you something. So I thank God every day that He gave me Karen Alicia Dykes as my mama, because I have friends who have mothers who I could not dream of my mama talking to me, treating me, moving with me the way that I've seen some women move out here with their daughters. And at that point, I am a firm believer in I have not had to do it. Well, I have. That's another story. But I'm a believer in I will cut you out of my life regardless of who you are. If you are here and you are causing me problems, you are draining my mental health, parent, child, sibling, aunt, grandparent, you can go.
You can go. And see, for me, oh my God, child, Shamika girl. For me, I had to learn to forgive my mom for who she wasn't.
Talk about that, because
I had to learn to forgive her for who she wasn't. She wasn't an abusive mom. I can't say that she was abusive and that she didn't love us, but the love that me and my sister desired, she didn't have it for herself. So I had to learn to love her for just that.
Yep. Oh, real shit. Because
Man, I used to be so angry at her for who she wasn't. And I mean emotionally, not as a provider, not as a go-getter, because she had an extensive career in nursing. My mother made good money when she was in the nursing field, and she provided. And to this day, by the grace of God, I still have my mom. And to this day, she still supports me and my sister and our children the best way that she can with what she has today. I used to resent her for not being strong and not telling us what to do and how to be certain type of women when life knocks a boulder and knock the wind out of our ass. What to do, Ma? She never knew what to do. And all the time, then that goes into who's supposed to, well, where does it break? Where does it end? Who takes the stand? So I had to learn to forgive my mother for that, for who she wasn't.
At some point, you come to a crossroads. And to Tayon's point, You get to that crossroads where it's like, okay, am I going to accept this person for who I see them as today?
Mm-hmm.
Not who I expect them to be, not who I want them to be, not who I think they should be, who they are right now, what they're showing me. Am I going to accept them for that, or do I need to separate? I have a grandmother that after my mom passed, I had to cut ties. I couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Mm.
I couldn't do it.
Your mother's mom?
No, my father's mother.
Oh.
I couldn't do it. I only did it because my mama asked me to. And the first thing I
But
said.
see, you know what I've learned? My kids taught me that too. It don't matter the title that you hold.
It does not.
My kids, because I'm big on, well, this is my mom, and this is my dad.
No.
And this is my sister, and this is your cousin, and this is my brother, and this is our cousin. This is our family.
If it don't matter to them, why the fuck should it matter to you? Because if that tie, if that bond meant as much to them as it meant to you, they'd move differently.
I had to forgive myself for projecting it on my children, my people-pleasing tendencies, and chasing people who push you back, chasing people who don't check on you, chasing people who don't think about you. Right. I had to ask my kids to forgive me for making them try to have bond and respect for people who could give who just because of the title, it doesn't mean nothing. They didn't reciprocate it. They didn't show them the love that title's supposed to hold. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive for that. Because in order to receive my blessings and in the overflow, I have to release you. I have to release you. I did not know that forgiveness plays such a heavy role in moving forward. Family titles don't matter. I understand now that our parents may not have been the best at times, but they were the vessels needed to get me here. Come on, come on with that one. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Because it's like I had to make a conscious decision. Like I had to learn my mother's story first. Who she was as a girl, how it came about to be with her kid's father and her children, the her family dynamic. You know what I'm saying? She spoil rotten, the family dynamic spoil rotten, and the fact that we have generational things that come down the bloodline, and she may not have been able to fight it, to waver it off, to shake it off, to break the mold.
I say all the time, like, we are just now getting language for a lot of the shit that we see popping up in ourselves, and just not able to identify. We have language for stuff they didn't have language for back then. And so same. It's like, okay, take into account for this person, because this is a person, this person who lived a whole full life before she had me. And what happened to her before I got here, and what continued to happen to her after the fact. Because half the time we don't even know the full story on that. Shamika, you may have to just bless and release her. Thank her for getting you here.
Yeah. Thank her for getting you here. Because you know what they say about us, boo? The black sheeps, the weird ones, the unique ones, the awkward ones, the hell raisers, the one who go through the most, even with our children. Because I've been through some things. Okay? We're chosen. You're your mother's blessing. When God blessed you with her, he blessed her with an inheritance. He gave it to you because she couldn't do it. Now, my prayer is that my mother sees it all the way through. And through my healing, that she can give herself some grace. Some grace is all I know. Because like I said, I want to be clear to not make my platform, like to bash your family, because that's not what I want to do. But when you spoke on the forgiveness when it comes to your mom, I had to forgive my mom for who she wasn't. And I mean, and not a provider, because she was a hardworking woman. She provided, stylish, pretty, spunky, you know what I mean? But she suffered from depression. And it seems like she laid down at one point and she just never got back up, you know? And when I go to her, I used to try to go to her to find it, to try to find an answer. And she didn't have it. And it used to piss me off so bad. And so one day I realized she doesn't have an answer.
She can't give you what she
can't give it to me.
Yeah.
She can't give it to me. And in order for me to keep what I have, my healing and my creativity and my learning and my charisma and my brightness, I have to give it away. Because you cannot keep what you have unless you're willing to give it away. So here I am in the raw, y'all. Forgiveness letter, episode 2. I'm coming back stronger. We coming back stronger. I got slots open. And Shamika said that we should do...
Oh, the mother room.
The mother wounds. I'm going to see how I can play that in. We got to talk about that.
I got a lot to say about that.
I do. See, but a lot of those mother wounds I've healed. I don't know if they're all healed though. I can't sit here and honestly say.
A lot of times you're not even carrying your own mother wound. Let's talk about that one.
Ooh.
That ain't even yours.
It ain't even yours to carry.
Mm-mm.
It's not.
And I wanna highlight Shamika's comment. I've done it, but people keep saying that's your mama, which means nothing to me at my age now. I'm done. Y'all, I could go on, but it's too much. And yes, I'm glad you've done it. Continue to do it. Do not be swayed. Continue to do what's best for you. As long as you feel like that's in your best interest, continue to do that.
Do what's best for you. That's what I said. My kids had to teach me, Shamika, about the titles that people hold.
Yep.
Just because they hold the title doesn't mean that you have to stay connected to them, that they are a part of your journey. You don't have to keep accepting what doesn't serve you from people who hold titles. You don't.
They're not putting that. She not clearly the same weight isn't on that title that you're giving it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay, I feel like we had a really good discussion today, guys.
Yes, thank y'all.
I'm so happy that everybody tuned in. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share my YouTube channel. I am working on getting it on Facebook, y'all. I'm working on working the course out with StreamYard to get it up there. I'm going to wrap up episode 2. I think we had a good run. I had a few technical difficulties. It gets funnier and funnier each episode. I thank you ladies for chiming in, giving good feedback and questions, joining me here. But I will leave you guys with this. When it comes to forgiving yourself, forgive yourself. If you get some time, write a forgiveness letter. Handle it, okay? I need you guys to handle it. I love y'all. I'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Slayer's Redemption, Chronicles personified, from bondage to breakthrough. Special thanks to this week's sponsors. Find us on our social media page.